Who is Dalai Lama? Why China Communist Party, CCP, hates him? The Dalai Lama is the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism and a symbol of Tibet's struggle for independence. He was born Lhamo Thondup in 1935 in northeastern Tibet and was recognized as the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama at the age of 2. He assumed political power in Tibet in 1950, at the age of 15, and remained in that role until 1959 when he fled to India after a failed uprising against Chinese rule in Tibet. The Dalai Lama is known for his advocacy of nonviolent resistance, human rights, and environmentalism. He has received numerous awards and honors for his efforts, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has long had a contentious relationship with the Dalai Lama. China claims that Tibet has been part of its territory since the 13th century and sees the Dalai Lama as a separatist who is seeking to undermine China's sovereignty. China has accused the Dalai Lama of being a splittist, and has banned his image and teachings in Tibet. The CCP has used a variety of tactics to undermine the Dalai Lama's influence, including demonizing him in the Chinese media, cracking down on Tibetan monks and nuns who support him, and trying to isolate him internationally. Despite these efforts, the Dalai Lama remains a revered figure among Tibetans and a symbol of their struggle for independence. One of the most interesting stories about the Dalai Lama is his flight from Tibet in 1959. After the failed uprising against Chinese rule, the Dalai Lama and a group of supporters fled the country on foot, crossing the Himalayas to reach India. The journey took 2 weeks and was extremely difficult, with the group facing extreme cold, hunger, and the risk of being caught by Chinese forces. The Dalai Lama has said that during this time, he relied on his Buddhist training to maintain his sense of calm and inner strength. Another interesting story is the Dalai Lama's efforts to promote environmentalism. In recent years, he has become an outspoken advocate for environmental protection and has called on people to reduce their carbon footprint and take action to address climate change. He has also spoken out against the mining and extraction of resources in Tibet, which he says is damaging the region's fragile ecosystem. Despite the CCP's efforts to undermine the Dalai Lama, he remains a symbol of hope and inspiration for Tibetans and people around the world who believe in human rights and freedom. His message of nonviolent resistance and compassion has resonated with millions of people, and his tireless efforts to promote peace and understanding have earned him respect and admiration around the world. The Dalai Lama has also been involved in various initiatives to promote interfaith dialogue and understanding between different religious communities. He has met with leaders of different faiths, including Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, to promote mutual respect and cooperation. One of the most notable initiatives in this area was the creation of the Common Ground Project in 2008, which brought together leading scholars and practitioners from different religious traditions to explore areas of common ground and shared values. The project resulted in the publication of a book titled, Towards a Global Ethic, an initial declaration, which laid out a set of principles for a shared global ethic that could serve as a foundation for interfaith cooperation and dialogue. Despite the Dalai Lama's efforts to promote peace and understanding, the CCP has continued to vilify him and his followers, accusing them of being separatists and terrorists. This has led to a tense and sometimes violent relationship between Tibetans and Chinese authorities, with frequent clashes and protests in Tibet and other regions with Tibetan populations. In recent years, the Dalai Lama has faced health problems and has scaled back his public appearances. However, he remains an important spiritual leader and symbol of hope for Tibetans and people around the world who believe in human rights and freedom. Here are 12 facts on Dalai Lama. 1. The Dalai Lama was born on July 6, 1935, in Toktsur, northeastern Tibet. 2. His birth name is Lhamo Thondup, and he was recognized as the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama at the age of 2. 3. He assumed political power in Tibet at the age of 15, in 1950. 4. The Dalai Lama has been a leading figure in the Tibetan independence movement, which seeks to establish Tibet as a separate state from China. 5. He fled Tibet in 1959 after a failed uprising against Chinese rule and has lived in exile in India ever since. 6. In 1989, the Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent campaign for Tibetan freedom and human rights. 7. He is the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism and has written several books on Buddhist philosophy and spirituality. 8. The Dalai Lama is also known for his advocacy of environmental protection and has spoken out against mining and other resource extraction in Tibet. 9. He has met with numerous world leaders, including U.S. presidents and heads of state from Europe and Asia. 10. The Dalai Lama has also been involved in various initiatives to promote interfaith dialogue and understanding between different religious communities. 11. He has faced criticism from the Chinese government, which has accused him of being a separatist and has banned his image and teachings in Tibet. 12. Despite this, the Dalai Lama remains a revered and inspirational figure for Tibetans and people around the world who believe in human rights, non-violence, and spiritual values. In conclusion, the Dalai Lama is a revered spiritual leader and symbol of Tibet's struggle for independence. He has spent his life advocating for nonviolent resistance, human rights, environmental protection, and interfaith dialogue. Despite the CCP's efforts to undermine him, he remains a respected and inspirational figure for millions of people around the world. Here is an inspiring poem on Dalai Lama's spirits of religion freedom in China. Amidst the mountains and the clouds, a voice of freedom rings out loud. From the land of Tibet, the Dalai Lama speaks. Of love and compassion, his message unique. In China's grip, his people suffer. Their voice is silenced, their rights a buffer. But the Dalai Lama's spirit shines bright. A beacon of hope, in the darkest of night. He speaks of peace and nonviolent ways. Of standing up for what we believe and say. Of living with purpose and loving each other. Of finding joy in the company of others. His teachings inspire, and his message rings true. Of living in harmony with people and nature too. Of respecting diversity and cherishing life. Of holding on to hope through all of the strife. So let us heed his words and follow his lead. Of being kind and compassionate indeed. Of standing up for what is right and just. Of keeping hope alive in the face of distrust. For the spirit of religion freedom that he espouses is a call to action that each of us arouses. To make the world a better place to be. And to live with love and empathy. ******. Start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html $8 79893335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for kind support our Anhub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.